faster than a cheetah, more muscle-bound than a gorilla, more agile than a great white shark, swooping overhead, feasting on our streets. What is it? The pigeon, an ordinary bird with surprising superpowers. Their secret identity now revealed as pure pigeon genius. A pigeon's first secret: superpowered flight. Their wings push them up and forward in one smooth move. Pigeons can take off vertically and can even hover in midair, all thanks to their wing design. Underneath their feathers is a strong but flexible frame, a lot like our arms, with an upper arm, forearm, flexible wrist, and finger-like bones. When they take off, they get their wings up as high as possible, then flap down really hard. Pigeons spend 30% more power getting off the ground than when they fly in midair. The wings become a stiff paddle and push down huge amounts of air. When the wings twist forward, the feathers lock together, thrusting even more air downward. At the top and bottom of the cycle, the wings actually touch. On the upstroke, the feathers spread apart into mini wings, pushing down more air, lifting up the pigeon. But pigeons need more than just feathers to fly. They need bones. Hollow bones. Pigeons have over a dozen of them, strong but light. Tough enough to withstand the pressures of flight. Even at 50 miles an hour.
Come on.
Coming into land, Racer 515, a thoroughbred racing pigeon. Pigeon races have been around for centuries. The prize money can be up to $1 million. John Celia owns and trains 515 and his fellow racers.
Good job.
Today, 515 flies 20 miles. It's a workout for an important race.
Some water.
Take a drink. Come on. Take a drink. Go ahead.
Every training day, John releases the racers from greater and greater distances. 20 miles, 40 miles, and 50 miles. And every time, the pigeons race home at breakneck speed.
5 minutes ahead of the rest of the flock. I think he's going to be a good time.
515 aced today's trip in 20 minutes, averaging 50 miles an hour. But the real race is 10 times as long, 200 miles. 515 must be in tip-top shape. Flying at 50 miles an hour is hard work. He'll beat his wings up to 36,000 times. His heart beating 700 times a minute. That's about 600 times more than a person, and they'll keep up these speeds for hours. For their size, pigeons are one of the most muscle-bound animals on the planet. With huge chests, their flight muscles make up 30% of their body weight, compared to only 20% for most other birds. A pigeon's massive muscles require massive amounts of fuel. That means lots of oxygen. So every pigeon, racing pigeon or park pigeon, comes equipped with a very special set of lungs. Mammals get oxygen by pushing air in and out of the lungs, but the fresh oxygen gets diluted by leftover carbon dioxide. Pigeons, like all birds, have a different system. oxygen goes straight into special air sacs. It never mixes with outgoing carbon dioxide, so pigeons absorb more oxygen than people do. It's a truly superhuman efficiency. High octane, fuel revving, powerful muscles.
Come on, let's go. Come on.
John Celia calls his racers home. Like all pigeons, these racers usually mate for life. 515 and his mate live with 24 other pairs in this luxury pigeon apartment complex called a loft. The couples know which colorful door means home sweet home, roosting here for their entire lives. And on rooftops worldwide, it's the same story. Just like their dove ancestors have always done. Pigeons are actually doves. A family of over 300 species worldwide, taking many forms and living in many places, especially in cities. Pigeons quickly adapt to new environments, changing in just a few generations. Pigeon breeders use this ability to make some crazy-looking birds. Giant feathers, flashy colors, unusual birds. Pigeon breeders have created many different kinds of pigeons. They all look different, but they all have one thing in common. They're competing to be pigeon champions.
This is my Australian saddleback tumbler. He won national champion. Means it's the best pigeon of its breed in Australia.
This is the 07 national champion. And the Roman Ronto, the largest pigeon breed there is in the world.
They always say once bitten by the pigeon bug, it's there till you're in the box.
In Melbourne, Australia, they gather for the biggest show of the year. It's the Westminster Dog Show for pigeons. And just like dogs, pigeons are bred for many different reasons. Dr. Colin Walker studies pigeon genetics.
All of these wonderful breeds evolved from just a simple ancestor, Columbia livia, the wild rock dove.
Breeders matched up birds to create colors, crests, beaks, and feathered feet. Pigeons that blow up like a balloon, and pigeons that don't look like pigeons.
Well, look at these birds, aren't they amazing? They've been bred to have this enormous crest over the top of their head. It's so developed now that the bird can't even see clearly, and there's his head peeking in there like that.
This is the Jacobin pigeon, just one of many types here. Bukhara trumpeters are from Turkestan.
Normal feral pigeons, of course, have no feathers on the legs at all. Look at the muffs on this bird here. So big, it's almost like walking on a big sort of pizza, a big dinner plate.
Skandaroons are a 2,000-year-old breed from Iraq.
Really the only breed which has been selected for this huge downward pointing beak. It's quite striking.
But genetic manipulation is more than skin deep.
Medinas are known as really pugnacious, almost angry little birds. Let's see how this guy goes. Look. They're like a little avian Rottweiler. They virtually guard the house if you're not at home. Look at him. Isn't that unreal? There.
Frillbacks are a centuries-old German breed.
In these, the feather follicles all over the wing are actually been selected to grow a feather in an unusual way. And so instead of the wing coverts being flat and lustrous and water resistant, they're actually really super curly. And these birds occur in blue and red.
Oriental frills are an ancient breed from the Middle East.
The beak is so short now through genetic selection, and an incredible change from the feral pigeon that we perhaps see pecking around streets.
Some fanciers breed pigeons for their behavior, not their looks. These are Birmingham rollers. They look like ordinary pigeons until they start flying.
They fly as a group, somersault backwards in the sky. They've been timed up to 13 revolutions per second, and they drop anywhere between 6 feet up to 50 to 60 feet.
It's an aerial acrobatic show. Stopping mid-air, backs arched, wings tucked, Birmingham rollers tumble like Olympian gymnasts. This extreme behavior isn't natural, and most breeds of fancy pigeons could not survive in the wild. The Oriental frill's beak is so small it can't feed its own young. The frillback's feathers won't repel water to stay warm and dry. And the odd-flying rollers are an easy target for hawks and tall trees. So pigeons are bred in all kinds of shapes and sizes. But appearances are only skin deep. If you mate different breeds of fancy pigeons together, after a few generations, they end up looking like a regular pigeon. Other pigeon powers include their super senses. Their eyes and ears guide them around and keep them out of trouble. Pigeons see the way we do. They use both eyes to spot the shape and distance of objects. But pigeons see far more. Each eye also sees almost behind their heads, giving a 340-degree field of view. So pigeons can spot food whenever they touch down. And at the same time, spot predators, like hawks. Having eyes in the back of their head keep the pigeons out in front, out of harm's way. But these specialized eyes can do even more. Pigeons can detect ultraviolet light from the sun and use it to help them navigate. Pigeons also have super hearing. They hear sounds much lower than humans can, 200 times lower. They may be able to hear approaching rainstorms or even distant earthquakes. So, great eyes, ultra-sensitive hearing, super strong bones, and huge muscles make pigeons the surprising champions of the sky. But all these powers are really used for one thing: making baby pigeons. Pigeons are not only super powered, they're super parents. They both take care of the kids, always watch out for them, and mate for life. And it starts with a kiss. Really, the female places her beak inside the male's beak. Pigeon talk for "I do." Then the male gathers the materials, and the female builds the nest. Just large enough for mom and a couple of eggs. And 10 days later, every time, twins arrive. With 2 chicks, at least one is likely to survive. The first egg hatches in 16 to 18 days, followed within hours by egg number 2. The babies are called squabs. They are sightless, helpless, and hungry. But that's okay. Pigeons have a special nursing ability. Both the mother and the father can feed their chicks. They make a high-powered milk that's so nutritious, the babies can double their size after 2 days. This super baby formula is made in a sac in the pigeon's throat called a crop. It's a food factory for baby. Water and nutrients combine into milky clumps. Supercharged food with more protein and fat than cow or human milk, laced with immunities against disease. And making the babies grow big, really big. Squabs eat almost their own weight in pigeon milk every day. In just 2 weeks, they're half the size of their parents. After 25 days, they're nearly full grown and can feed themselves. And after 35 days, they leave home. But Mom and Dad barely have time to say goodbye. They already have another pair of eggs. Most birds mate only once or twice a year. But pigeons evolved a different strategy. Thanks to living around people, pigeons can find food all year round. This means pigeons can have babies all year round. Pigeon parents might have 6 to 9 pairs of eggs each year. Do the math. A single pair of pigeons and their offspring can produce over 50 cooing, pecking birds in just 12 months. These pigeon family values aren't lost on trainer John Celia. Pigeons mate for life and are very loyal to each other. One week before the big race, John removes 515's mate, so 515 is left all alone in his nest. He won't look for another mate, and even defends his territory against other interested ladies. Finally, the day before the race, John reunites the pair.
Need to motivate your little mate so we can get him home quick. Maybe we'll win the race. All right? Go on in there.
But only for a little while.
All right, guys.
Now, he takes Racer 515. Separated once again, missing his mate, Racer 515 should be motivated to fly home as fast as he can.
Take one last look. Off to go.
It's time to race. First stop, the clubhouse. Over 100 pigeons will race.
Okay, time to enter my birds.
And everyone gets an official identifying band.
We fit him with a rubber counter mark that has a serial number on it. And this number is also registered on the entry sheet. When the bird comes home, this band is removed and it goes into our clock. It stands for the time the bird comes home. It's good. Ready to go.
They're loaded into the truck, fed and watered, for the overnight journey to the starting line.
Everything's tied up tight.
Good to go.
The racers get a good night's sleep. Then it's time to race. Bridgeport, West Virginia, 320 kilometers away. In just a few minutes, these pigeons will use another one of their superpowers. They'll find their way home from a place they've never been to before. It's an internal drive scientists call homing. Drop a pigeon almost anywhere, even thousands of miles away, and they'll successfully find their way home. Many animals use their own internal navigation. Sea turtles cross the ocean to find mating partners. Salmon swim upriver to return to where they were born. But pigeons are in a class of their own. They roam the planet over great distances and always return home. In West Virginia, the race is on. Pigeon 515 and 100 others circle the release point, get their bearings, and sprint away over unknown territory. Pigeons have a homing ability that's hard to beat. One reason? They don't rely on just one way to get home. They have many navigational tools. Pigeons use the sun like a compass. They memorize landmarks like highways and buildings. They memorize scent landmarks too, the smell of the ocean, a forest, or a city. They can navigate long distances just by the strength of these smells. And scientists believe that, like many migratory species, pigeons can sense magnetic fields. On each side of the pigeon's upper beak are hundreds of magnetic sensing crystals. They create a three-dimensional picture of the Earth's magnetic field to help pinpoint the pigeon's location. In other words, pigeons have a built-in, state-of-the-art GPS system. Over Maryland, Racer 515 combines all of these navigational senses, sorting information from sights, smells, sounds, and magnetism. Pushing his muscle-bound frame to the max, driven by a single-minded purpose, to return home to his waiting mate. His wings pump 6 times a second. His heart races at 700 beats a minute, and his lungs turbocharge blood with oxygen. John Celia is counting on 515's pigeon superpowers and his hardwired motivation to bring home the gold.
Come on, boy. Come on. Come on.
Out of the blue, a bird rockets onto the landing board.
All right, look at that!
It's number 515. He's home.
Winner! Come on. Attaboy.
Now every second counts. The timer doesn't stop until the racing band goes into the clock, locking in the exact time.
3 hours and 46 minutes. Ought to be a good time. I think he's going to be top 10. Good boy.
In fact, 515 places second, on his way to qualify as a national champion. But 515 didn't race for a trophy. It was the simple desire to get home, to reunite with his mate. Swooping from buildings, soaring around rooftops, and leaving their mark everywhere. Pigeons are all around us. But don't hate them for it. They're just doing what they do best. Flying, making babies, and navigating the planet. So the next time you're surrounded by them, remember, pigeons are extraordinary animals. To live alongside people requires a special kind of animal. An animal with amazing superpowers.